Imagine that you were a child, maybe about 5 to 6 years old at Walmart. Maybe your parent has to do the grocery shopping and you wander across the electronics section where you see a bunch of video games that you haven't seen before. Maybe you've heard your friends talk about it, and maybe you've even heard about it in commercials. But the point is, you play it because your parents let you, and you end up really loving it. And you ask your parents for it for Christmas. Video games have been a part of our lives for quite some time now, and even if you've never played it, you've probably heard of at least some. And you've also heard about the negative aspects that it can have. But I can tell you this, that it actually has some very important and very good stuff that it can teach you. So I would like to show you how skills gained from video games can be helpful in your everyday lives. First of all, there's a rating system called the ESRB, or the Entertainment Software Rating Board, that rates a bunch of video games that are here in America and in Canada. There are 4 main ratings: E for everyone, E 10 and up, E for everyone, E 10 and up, T for teen, and M for mature. E for everyone are very simple games such as such as Minecraft, Roblox, Mario Kart, Animal Crossing, and Stardew Valley that are designed for all ages. E10 and up are mild adult themes but are mostly child-friendly, such as Spider-Man 3 and Sonic Adventure 2. Then there are T for teen games that are more adult themes but aren't so bad to be given the N for mature rating. These ones include Jump Force, Bully, and Mystery Legends Phantom of the Opera. Then there's M for mature, which are very adult graphics and themes. These ones are Dead by Daylight, Alien Isolation, Mortal Kombat 11, Resident Evil Village. Before buying a game, do the research on the titles and ratings to find the right fit. Video games are called games for a reason, and they are meant to stimulate the brain. In a study done by C. Sean Green and Daphne Balvier, they describe a study performed by Green where gamers and non-gamers were given a study on an unnamed game and how good they focused. Gamers were found to have the better focus, switching attention quickly on nearby enemies and objectives in a fast-paced environment. While this is just the tip of the iceberg of the benefits of video games, parents may have some concerns about letting their children play them. There's a common statement about video games made by the media that all violence has a bad effect on children. There was a study done in Japan by authors who go by these last names: Shibuya, Sakamoto, and Ihori. The study surveyed over 100 children on the games they play, but it ended in this: creating critical context toward violence can teach children that violence is inappropriate and unacceptable. Video games also have a good effect on the adult brain, not just a child's. Young adults might think we're invincible, but the truth is we're not. A lot of us develop this disease called Alzheimer's. In Alzheimer's, there's a protein called beta amyloid that actually forms in the brain, and it clumps together, and it damages the brain cells and their connections, and it often is diagnosed in old age. The official Alzheimer's Association says more than 6 million Americans of all ages have Alzheimer's. An estimated 6.5 million Americans aged 65 and older are living with Alzheimer's in 2022, and 73% are aged 75 or older. In a supporting article called Can Alzheimer's Begin in Their 20s by Nick McKeehan, discussed neurotechnology that suggests beta amyloid can start forming in our 20s. Many people were studied in that, and from age 20 to 60, about 76 people, and it was actually discovered that beta amyloid actually lived in all of their brains, but it wasn't enough to be qualified as Alzheimer's. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't start doing everything that we can to prevent Alzheimer's. There are also games that promote fitness as well, such as Just Dance, and also Wii Fit and Wii Fit U. Think of your future for yourselves and your children. Parents, to be a good parent also means to nurture your child's interest. There's a licensed therapist on the YouTube channel Cinema Therapy that says, so parents, if you're watching, your kids are going to figure out who they are, and if you want to be an awesome parent, you got to let them. You might discourage them out of genuine love and concern, but the truth is, you really just need your child to be happy. In the future for young adults, we need to be seriously considering our health in the future. This has been lectured so many times by our families and teachers, but there's genuine concern in that. And with all the information I have given, you're probably scratching your heads and you have your own questions and concerns. Should we all invest time in playing games to help our children and ourselves, or should we find more productive activities? The answer is this: Do you think it would be beneficial to someone if they were to spend all day doing absolutely one thing, They might get bored. I think it'd be beneficial for them to maintain some balance and do other things that are more productive, but that does not mean stop doing that thing altogether. Another thing, if you haven't actually tried gaming, try it. You don't know if it would be your thing if you haven't tried it. I know you might have your own opinions based on someone else or based on what the media says, but a properly formed opinion is only formed once you try it. If you're a new gamer and you're worried about the cost, try older consoles like the Nintendo Wii or the Xbox, or Xbox 360, PlayStation 2 or 3, because the newer ones, such as the Nintendo Switch and the PlayStation 4, and all the new Xboxes and gaming PCs, they all run from about $300 to $1,000. Also, mobile gaming is also a solid option. So parents, do research on games for your children. Make sure the ratings fit the child. Nurture their interest and get involved. However, be a parent. Give your child guidelines and limit their screen time to help them do more productive activities and live more balanced lives. But do not discourage, though. That will put a weight on your relationship with them. For young adults, remember that we are just as fragile as everyone else. We have many years in the tank, and if we want to make it in the end in one piece, we need to keep our bodies and minds healthy. Keeping the brain stimulated and form habits that will lead you down a good road is a good way of doing this. While writing this speech, I thought it would be a good idea to briefly explain some good things that some games have taught me. This is Super Smash Bros. It's a competitive game where you play a bunch of Nintendo characters and your goal is to do as much damage to everybody and knock people off the screen. This teaches competitiveness and strategicness because obviously it's a fighting game, it's very competitive. So you have to know your character's moves, and more importantly, you have to know how much damage they do, and you also have to watch your opponent and how they fight so that you can counter them. There's also a game series called Disney Infinity, where you play as a bunch of Disney characters, and you can create as much puzzles, or you can create your own worlds, or whatever you want. This teaches creativity. Then there's Nintendo Land. There's one called Donkey Kong's Crash Course, and it's problem solving because you have to pull a bunch of levers in order to get to the end. A bunch of levers and it's a big puzzle, basically. Then there's Just Dance, obviously, which is about dancing, and it teaches competitiveness and also concentration. So, knowing this, I'm going to pause my timer here. Knowing all the benefits and the problems that gaming can cause, my proposal is this. Do the research and find a game that works best for the player. If money is a concern, find an older console or consider mobile gaming. If you have a laptop or computer that can handle video games, use that if you want to. Just make the effort and try. If you give it an honest try and you end up not liking it, that's totally fine because it's not for everybody. Gaming has lots of benefits like teaching life skills, keeping the brain active, helping people be social too, and being a career choice. If you're a parent and your child has an interest in gaming, let them. Give them boundaries and limit their screen time so they live a balanced life. But take an interest and help them learn about themselves. For young adults, take your health seriously. Gaming can help prevent Alzheimer's, a very real and very common disease that affects the memory. I know for a fact that most of us want to remember the people we meet and the things we accomplish in life.